Perfect. So, last time I saw you, which feels like a while ago, we finished working on the visual portion of the project. We did all of the visual imaging, editing. That's all Photoshop stuff. So, Photoshop, meaning like photo editing. That part's all done, and we want to make sure it's saved. So, when we add all of the text, we're going to use Illustrator for that. So, we could actually open a Photoshop document in Illustrator. In your case, because I know the computers are slow and laggy, I want you to close Photoshop first before you open it in Illustrator, just because I don't want it to have a meltdown. Okay? So, I'm going to open my file. This is mine. The Photoshop document here. It's going to be like a PSD document. Okay. Give it a minute, and this little blurb's going to pop up. So, it should be set for you, but it should be set to flatten layers to a single image. Basically, we're telling Illustrator, like, hey, I just need it as one big photo. And then I'm going to type a bunch of stuff on top of it. We'll give that a second to load. And then we've got, I think, 4 or 5 pieces we have to add on top of it as far as text goes. So let's check out our little to-do list here. Just let me finish this and then I'll let you go. Okay? So we're over here on our to-do list. We opened our Photoshop document in Illustrator. So here's what we have to add today. Our logo, guys. We have to add the logo, the actors' names, the tagline, which you can find at imdb.com, and the premiere date. That's all the data that needs to go on this piece of paper. And if you want to look back at the project outline, we've got so many examples, and they all kind of fall in the same place when we look at it. So if I'm starting at the top of the movie poster, what's in like the first top line of most of these movie posters? Yeah, the actors' names, okay? So that's the first thing I'll probably start with. And I'm going to still use that little T for the text tool. And when I draw it, I draw a little box to put it in. Okay? So all of your text information for the most part is up here. I'm just going to write Keenan. And I can select it. I can change the font. I can actually pick something kind of fun because it's Good Burger. I can blow up the size. That's all stuff you know already, so let's not beat that to death. Okay? I could change alignment. Bold news, okay? If I want to change the color, you've got these 2 little boxes here. I know sometimes it's annoying and you're like, oh, I can't see my colors. Why is it being like that? If you hit the little books of libraries here, default swatches, and print, then you'll get your whole little list there. So let's say I want to make it orange. Okay. So I put an orange stroke on it. That's kind of cool. And then maybe I'll do a fill that's yellow. I got to do it again on here. So little library, default swatches, print. So I could do like a stroke, or I could do a fill if I want to do that. You don't have to have a stroke on there, but you may like it. Just let me finish it up. I'll be done soon. So if you want that stroke on the outside, great. Keep it. You could even make it thicker by hitting up on the stroke here. Don't want a stroke? Don't worry about it. Put this little slash on there, and then it doesn't have that anymore. Okay. Any questions about that part? What's up? Go ahead, Liz. No, I think you can vary it. You probably want to deal with maybe like 2 fonts at most. I wouldn't go too crazy. So you can see kind of like on this one, Keenan and Kel and In Theaters Everywhere is the same, but like their logo is different. And if you want to go with something really simple for your tagline, I totally get that. So let's say 2 to 3 fonts. Huh? Good question. Then here's some other fun adjustments we can do. Sometimes you're going to need your text to be like closer together or farther apart. So if you go to Window, Type, Character, you get this nice little window that pops up here. So let's say I want my letters to be a lot closer together. I've got this little VA thing here, and I'm going to do -100. And what just happened to all my letters? Yeah, they're like really squished, right? Now let me do just like +100, and you can see it like really spreads it out. You could actually do the same thing with like lines of text too. So let's say I want the lines to be closer together. I'll select it and I'll use this like A on top of the A here, and I can squish my lines closer together, or I can push them farther apart. Whatever works better for you. We just never want them like touching because that's way too much. So that thing with the line adjustment between lines is called our leading, and the space between the letters is called our kerning, and it's actually right on the wall there if you need to reference that at any point. Okay. I got 2 more tidbits to show you, and then I promise you're on your own, okay? So a few more fun things you could do with your text. Drop shadow looks super fancy. So once I'm done like typing and all that stuff, I'll select my letters with my black arrow, effect, stylize, drop shadow. And I generally don't change anything on here because I find it very tricky. But you can see it puts like that little bit of like a light black behind there. So sometimes it makes your text look really fancy. So I'll kind of take it off with the preview and put it back on. And you can see it makes that like, it makes it stand out a little bit. If you want it, you don't ever have to use it, but it's there for you if you want it. Sure. If I'll show you again. Effect, stylize, drop shadow. Okay. All right. And I got one other thing I'm going to show you, and then you are good to go. So I'm going to just start typing I'm going to type good burger here. How about that? Good burger. So a cool thing you can use is still in that whole type drop down menu. It's the last one at the bottom. It's like a square called the touch type tool. So this lets me focus on just one letter at a time and do cool stuff to it. So I could like blow up one letter, I could shrink one letter, I could tilt one letter. So here's something cool I could do. I can make like good. Maybe I'm going to make good really like big on this project. Whee! I could push it together like that. Maybe I want them to be kind of wiggly. I'm going to make them wiggly too. That'll be fun. So I could hit this little dot at the top and I can kind of tilt them. Yeah, I want it to be kind of like all over the place on purpose. And I'll use my black arrow, bless you, just to make my box a little bit different. But the cool part is I could pretty much go back to my touch type tool and I can make all these like individual adjustments on each letter. They're really good if you want things kind of like wiggly and just like very individualized. It makes it look really like shaken up, which is cool. Okay. So you've got tons of different options as far as like ways to adjust your text. So Illustrator is really good for like text related stuff. So when you look at like all these movie posters here, they didn't go like crazy, but you will notice like some of them have really, really, really tight kerning, really close together letters. Some are really far apart, like the Matrix. They didn't go too crazy with the text. Nothing's too wild. How would you describe like how detailed the font is for the taglines? Yeah, very simple, really small, tiny too. Okay, mostly near the top of the page. So you can kind of follow the formula here. Actors at the top, logo I'd say is the bottom half, maybe even bottom quarter. The premiere is like the last line at the bottom. Okay, so as long as we're following that formula, it's probably going to look pretty awesome. It's just picking out like a font that's going to really work out for you, or a few fonts that will work out for you. Okay. And then all the work you're doing on this point on is like should be straight up Illustrator stuff. Okay. Yeah, so you can sign out now. Okay. Do you have any questions or anything else like text wise that comes to mind you want me to demo? Perfect. Okay, we'll save it and this will be here for you to reference later on.